Today we're going to show you how to change the rod socket on your washer. That's a really easy job. All we're going to need is a stiff putty knife and a 1/4 inch nut driver. Let me show you how we do it. Now before we begin this repair, we are going to need to disconnect the power, so pull the plug to the washer. We're also going to want to pull that washer far enough forward so that we can remove the fill hoses from the back. So be sure to turn off the water supply before you remove the hoses. And once we've done that, we'll take our putty knife and we're going to go in this gap between the front panel and the top panel, and you'll locate a hidden spring in there. Simply depress it with the putty knife and pull the front panel forward. And tilt the front panel forward and lift it off of the 2 tabs on the bottom that secure it there. You can set that aside. Next, with our 1/4 inch nut driver, we're going to remove 2 screws that secure the top panel to the cabinet. Now we're going to take the main top and just lift it up a couple of inches. Next, we're going to raise the lid to its open position. And then we're going to depress the tab on the back of that lid switch towards the front. And then we can push the lid switch up through the opening. And you can pull the lid switch towards the back of the washer, release it, and drop it through the opening. And now close the lid, and we can remove the main top. Now for replacing one of the front sockets, this is as far as we need to disassemble the machine. If you're replacing one of the rear 2 sockets, we'll need to also remove the control panel mounting bracket and set the control panel, back panel, and mounting bracket aside so that we can access the rear ones. And it's simply a matter of lifting up on the bottom of the suspension rod, pushing it up through the opening, and we'll depress one of the little locking tabs on the side of that socket, force it up through the opening, slide it completely off of the rod. And while we have that tub suspended, we'll slide the new one into position. And it does not have the little locking tabs on it, so it's simply a matter of lining it up with the locator tab in the center and setting it into position. And now we can reassemble the washer. Now when we put the main top on, we want to make sure that we engage these slotted holes at the back of the main top with the 2 hooks on the top frame. Now next we're going to raise the lid and just tilt up the front of that top panel enough that we can position the lid switch up through the opening in the main top, keeping the wire harness towards the front. We'll hook it in and then press down on the back of it until it snaps into place. And we'll reach in between the top and the frame. We'll snap the wire harness retainer into the frame, and we can lower that main top down into position. We can close the lid. Now next we'll replace the 2 1/4 inch hex head screws that secure the main top to the cabinet. Next we will replace the front panel, and we'll make sure that we line up those 2 slotted openings on the bottom with the tabs on the base frame. And then as we tilt that panel forward into position, make sure that the little locating pins line up with the openings on the front panel, and then just snap it into place. Now we can replace the drive block for the agitator. It is splined on the inside to fit the agitator shaft, so you just drop it down into position. We'll take our 7/16 bolt, and then with a ratchet or wrench, we'll tighten that securely. We'll have to hold the tub in position while we do that. Next, we'll take our agitator and we'll put it back in place. And you'll note that there are some plastic tabs that hold that to the drive block. There are also 4 splined guides that line up with the exterior of that drive block. And those guides also correspond with the fins on the bottom of the agitator to help you line it up easier. So set it over the drive block, slide it down into place, and give it a sharp push to lock it into position. We're now ready to reconnect our fill hoses and reconnect the powder, and the repair is complete.